Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. Welcome to Extreme Recap, everyone. Imagine being ensnared on a train and being pursued by a horde of carnivorous rats, who ruthlessly eat anything in their path. Today, we'll go over the events surrounding the 2021 movie rat disaster at the Bayway Food train station. A number of passengers got ready to board the enormous locomotive. Something suspicious is noticed by a man by the name of Jung, who is accompanied by his family. A priest and a group of police officers are having a conversation about a strange cargo inside a box that was opened on the ground. He hears shouts coming from the catwalk above the tracks when he turns around. In a desperate gesture, the guards wave to an approaching train in the distance. There shouldn't be that train there. Now, everyone is nervous. They observe the locomotive slowly coming to a stop as they wait. From inside the vehicle, Jung already observes the policeman's agitation. When they opened the iron door, the train that had just arrived had experienced something sinister. The bodies have been completely shattered, revealing a bloodbath. Additionally, as they open one of the locked doors, a sizable group of rats emerges. Additionally, Junk is no longer able to see what has transpired because he was forced out by an extremely agitated passenger. However, another passenger quickly calms him down, albeit not very gently. The train is already moving, and as it travels, you can see the garbage dumps filled with a number of rats. Because he needs to look into a situation, Zine still feels apprehensive and asks his oldest daughter, Su Ting, to look after his younger brother. When she and the man who helped save her arrived, they heard rat sounds coming from the ceiling. Rats have invaded the air duct. Young's young son approaches the scene and removes the moving tarp when he hears the bizarre sounds of something gnawing and moving while everyone else was sleeping. All it was a cat. However, the noises emanating from the ceiling never ceased to be audible, resulting in more passengers beginning to hear them. Huang, one of the passengers, begins to walk down the corridor while pounding his cane on the ceiling. Additionally, this is undoubtedly not going to end well. Through the wagons, Jung continues his investigation, watching the other passengers. He is shocked when he sees a girl. He tries to slap the woman, but the guards who are escorting her stop him and drag him to another car. According to the officers, the woman identified as Ling Ling is Commander Tang's fiancée. What's more, John continues to demand that she is his girl who had taken off amidst the disarray. In the wagon's corner, they hear a dying voice. The guard slowly moves in to look into it. Additionally, he loses everything when the person is turned around. Additionally, a number of rats rush out, climb on the policeman, and they begin to eat him alive. His companion tries to assist him, but the infestation also brutally attacks her. The cane-wielding passenger finally resolved the issue, allowing a whirlwind of rats to land on the couple's heads and bite them desperately. The priest claims that he was surprised by their speed of arrival. That is to say, the damned man was aware. Ling Ling, who cries out for her father, is taken by the guards. They attempt to take a few boxes on the minister's requests and turn out to be surpassed by additional rodents that tumble from the roof. Even Bitten, one of them actually figures out how to safeguard the freight. While Jung is still under arrest, he notices that the policeman has lost the key to his handcuffs. We are able to observe something interesting as he tries to pull it off with his foot. The light is not crossed by rats. They can only remain silent. He finally grabs the key and frees his handcuffs from that horrible wagon. However, his situation does not improve in front of him. In every nook and cranny of the wagons, there are heaps of dead bodies and hungry rats. Jung is bouncing across avoiding those who try to restrain him. Additionally, additional rabid roosters using suitcases as bridges on the ceiling. He manages to leap out of yet another wagon, leaving behind a swarm of rodents in the cars that come after. He tries to warn everyone that a rat attack is coming so they will all run away. However, nobody believes him, and his face is even mocked and laughed at. After that, he takes his family with him and continues to head toward the locomotive's front. At that point, one of the passengers has a seizure and starts fighting violently. Everyone is baffled and unable to comprehend anything. Additionally, the man, who was acting bravely just a moment ago, is startled when the mouse emerges from under him. When he sees a wave of chaos coming, the leader of the gang starts pointing back. The rats are bouncing around like an avalanche. They keep moving up and down, trampling everything in their path, and they carry their victims around like a gothic leftist treadmill. Dyson must close the door and leave behind a man who is eaten alive by the rats that form a World War Z-style pile while Pyrosis Young's family safely moves on to the next car. With the justification that everything is out of control, the insane priest makes the decision to lock the people in the cars before it and close the door. He further aggravates the situation by unlocking the wagons and removing them from the main locomotive. Things that blink. She is taken away by the guards, despite the presence of her family. Commander Tang finds himself in a tough spot. Despite the people's begs, the priest tells him to let them die. Sean is getting closer to the rats. Collects a few suitcases and lets them out one at a time through the trapdoor in the ceiling. Additionally, the satanic rats are currently attempting to enter through the final door. The glass enters. The horde ultimately eats a man who was with them. The family of Deshawn and Jung are ascending the locomotive. Additionally, they observe a large number of roof rats behind them. Like the good coward he is, the animals are falling onto the track and shaking the cars hard. Tang broke the iron lock and separated the train. Before the derailment, Jung jumps off with US on his lap as the wagons are moving away. They narrowly escape themselves as Deshawn holds him by the arm. Individuals are shaken and revolt at the general for having lost a few relatives. After firing a warning shot, the priest begins to boast that he is a hero and that his decision saved everyone. The leader of the gang suddenly falls to the ground. They discover rat bites when they examine his body. It appeared that the creature's disease was already causing it to die. According to B. Lingling, individuals who have been bitten must be quarantined because the disease is contagious. One of the officers who received a hand attack conceals his wound. The worst part is that the infant son was also touched on the arm and has a fever already. In the middle of the wagon, Jung yells that a medicine will cure everyone. The government has purchased experimental, and he works at the health department. Therefore, this drug's fame stems from its ability to treat the disease that is spread by rats and is currently being treated in hospitals. The guards then fire their weapons directly at Xiaobaihe Station. The priest claims that the rats refuse to let the train stop because they are contaminated with something unknown. When the guards lower their weapons, it appears that the situation calms down for the gang member who takes the damned priest hostage. B. Lingling requests that the uninfected individuals move to the following vehicle, yet they possibly do so when compromised by the group chief. Jung gets into a contention with his little girl about past issues. She says that he didn't show up. Additionally, he asserts that she fled and will not take his advice because it was all in her favor. Lingling simply walks away and goes to stay with her younger brother, whose condition is deteriorating by the minute. The wagon of the uninfected awaits Jung and his other daughter. The deserted Xiaobaihe station is where they finally arrive. The passengers make the decision to throw away all of their luggage so that the rats won't have a place to hide and catch them off guard. Deshawn begins to carry the bombs in his clothes after finding a box. He offers to accompany Jung and other men to the medical warehouse to obtain the medicines. Jung is warned by the conductor that he must return within 2 hours or the locomotive will abandon him. Watching for any signs of the rats, everyone cautiously leaves the wagon. When they get to the small village nearby, all they see is a macabre scene and a trail of destruction. The discovery that the main street has been taken over by dozens of bodies and is even in a state of collapse shocks everyone. They are required to advance among the deceased, who already exude a horrible odor and clearly show signs of disease. However, this was just the first difficult crossing. Rats completely take over a new terror and alley as they progress further. The railway hospital can only be reached this way. However, Jung made a distinction. In point of fact, the rats do not approach the light. They only remain silent. As it gets darker, that is an essential loophole. To do so, they must hurry and get past the building's roofs, which block the light completely. They begin ascending the alley structures. One of the men falls among the rats and is devoured right away after slipping off the awning. They were powerless to do anything. The team continually tries to cross. However, the issue lies in the fact that a significant storm is on its way as the weather has settled in. And as a result, the train is in the dark, and more trouble is coming. A loud knocking sound is coming from all around the carriage. A shocked crew member notices a helpless man approaching the door and approaches. They let the man in and looked for bites on him. He appeared to be fine as well. The man, on the other hand, continues to be disturbed and claims that everyone outside has already died. He began by stating that the rats hid from the light during the day and emerged at night to devour anything in their path. The passengers clearly panic. They should follow the advice of the priest, who is still being held by the gang, and leave the infected behind to escape. If not, they will all perish as darkness approaches the village. The rats begin climbing the wall, piling on themselves, taking advantage of the shadows. The evil pinnacle of rodents. However, they must devise a safe means of descent, and in order to do so, Sean throws the pipe to the ground, resulting in an improvised bridge. Su Zheng falls first, knocking over crates along the way and temporarily preventing the horde from moving forward. Additionally, another man slips and falls right in the middle of the horde. The rats begin to scurry up the wall. The man seriously injured his leg and jumped for his life. Before they enter the hospital, they are now desperately fleeing the jumping rats. Deshawn kills several rats with one of his bombs, reducing the invasion's impact. When you enter the hospital, there is a terrible darkness that would undoubtedly make anyone panic. They cautiously walk until they reach the hospital. Guided by a water heater's light, they make a temporary dressing after removing the stake that was driven into Deshawn's leg. The Skyers man continued to investigate the location in the pitch black, but a stranger with a shovel ended up knocking him out. In a rage, he attacks him. Young quickly regains control of the man and induces calm by stating that they had come from the station in search of specific medications for the rabbit's victims. The man leaves quickly for the second floor and appears pleased with the information. And from this, we can deduce that his primary concern is his son, who is afflicted by multiple rabbits. The man declares that he will transport the medicines there because he is in charge of the inventory. The path is extremely disturbing, with numerous skeletonized cells all over it. The man claims that this was once a prison before it became a quarantined patient. At the end of the corridor, Deshawn noticed something strange. He then threw a flimsy torch into the darkness after lighting it. When they saw the silhouettes of dozens of rats moving through the corridor, they were shocked. They choose to push ahead leisurely for hypothetically, the light from the lights will drive the animals away. And they manage to board the train despite their desperate situation. The situation is still the same. The team's time has expired, according to the conductor. The priest delivers a new speech, declaring that it is already dark. Additionally, rats will kill them if they do not leave immediately. The passengers who want to leave and those who are waiting for the medicines are in complete disarray. The priest convinces the gang member that they should really move on and convinces him to use his gun on the group. Those who wish to remain are instructed to return to the back wagon, which includes lingering, which causes the girl to become completely enraged at him. The engineer's assistant alone travels to train control. What's more, the travelers leave the man locked inside with the goal that nobody can prevent him from beginning the train. While the disarray actually endures, a woman watches the rodents falling through the. Already, the sun is going down. The engineer appears to be aware of what is about to occur when everyone realizes it by looking at his watch. A massive swarm of rats has entered the vehicle after the young woman has opened the door. Enter and eat everything. Through the window, Commander Tang appears to be pleading with Lincoln for assistance. However, his choices have shaped his course. Young's team went even further into those dark catacombs, which appeared to be more like an ominous place, as the gang member blew himself up in an attempt to alleviate the pain caused by the bites. Dungeon of the Dark Souls because, naturally, they were in the den of the damned rats. They noticed that the rats in the enormous nest are nursing. Therefore, theoretically, they are quieter and less attentive than those outside. Young, armed with a lamp, follows on his own to avoid making any noise. After that, he ascends to the second floor. Where are the medicine cabinets? He discovers that the sulfur box is mythological. He puts the ampules in a bowl for you. Additionally, a portion of the mezzanine collapses when he descends, leaving him hanging. The medicine bottle is knocked to the ground when he throws it. After a large number of rats begin to emerge from the nest, Rascal, betraying the man who brought them here, locks the cell door and seals the door behind them. The rats want to eat everyone in the group, but with only one, it's hard. When they knock down the door, the nest collapses. Additionally, rats are literally falling from the ceiling in an avalanche. They scramble through the corridors in a desperate attempt to reach the drug dealer. However, his son was powerless to fend off additional rats, leaving the man desolate. Feeling the man's agony, Jung takes the can and they continue their escape from Leptus's whirlwind. Su Zheng locates a military jeep, and Spiro is right on their feet. They load themselves into the vehicle and leave. From sewers to gates and the roofs of buildings and homes, the rats are exiting every hole. They have to find a way to get rid of some of the pests as soon as they enter the jeep, as some of them jump in. They are supported by the entire army. They were finally able to lose them. When they get to the train, they see a desperate scene. Jung is at least relieved to learn that his family is still alive despite the fact that many had already passed away. However, the celebration of having discovered the solution soon ends when danger approaches. A terrifying sound is heard. It is approaching them. The greatest crowd of rodents possible, Jung goes to rush to the train, however the minister gets his medication can and hits him on the head. Deshawn tries to fight the cursed priest to get the vials back after the conductor starts the locomotive. He is successful in returning the can to Jung. However, the altercation with the priest worsens his leg wound. He will be unable to go on. The horde is rapidly approaching. Jung manages to ascend the moving locomotive as he runs to it. However, Deshawn emerges as the hero, sacrificing himself for each and every one of them before succumbing to rat poison. Furthermore, the damned cleric is likewise hard-heartedly consumed. The locomotive was brought to full speed by the engine driver, and for the time being, they were away from the creatures. All of the sick have received their medication at last, but nothing will remain quiet for long. The driver suddenly begins to lose control. Then we can see that on the tracks ahead of us, another stalled locomotive stands in the way. Jung begins to scream in a desperate attempt to gather the group, to derail the wagon from its path. However, the populace is powerless and incredulous. Additionally, no one is eager to assist him. He goes outside by himself and tries to drag the wagon, but he can't seem to get it off the ground even a millimeter. They can't even come close, even with Su Zheng's help. In addition, the rats continue to follow, blinking incessantly. Begins to address the passengers, stating that the sacrifices made by the deceased's loved ones could not have been in vain. They want everyone to fight for their lives and survive. They must keep fighting for everyone. As a result, individuals gradually gain self-assurance and decide to work together. They joined Zhang and Su Zheng and worked tirelessly to clear the obstruction from the tracks completely. One of the members of the gang decided that he needed to protect his friends, so he put all of the bombs on himself and went out into the middle of the open field, awaiting the arrival of the rats. The people had enough time to finish removing the thanks to his sacrifice. Wagon off the road. Since more hordes were coming, it was time to return to the train at full speed. Yet another issue. The guide yells to Jung that he should pull the switch and change the rails situation. If they don't, they'll end up on the wrong path. Jung quickly alters the track's course as he sprints to the lever. Murphy's Law is the only constant for him. The rail returns to the wrong position by itself because the lever is broken. Put another way, Zhang currently needs to hold it until the train totally goes through the Wei division. He runs after the train as soon as the last car has passed. The train is moving too quickly, and his two daughters scream at him to try harder to catch up. To the dismay of his daughters, Jung apologizes to them for everything and encourages them to be strong as he begins to lose strength. As he waits for his end, Mr. Jung stops running in short waves. The infected appeared to have responded to the medication. Already, U.S. Sheng is much better. Ling Ling says that now they will live together as a family in a new location. Additionally, the train is moving toward the horizon, where they might be able to escape the chaos. What would you do if you wanted to get away from the horde of hungry rats? Turn on notifications. Please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.